What is buoyancy? If a body is immersed partly or completely in a fluid, what is a fluid that can flow? A fluid is something that can flow. It may be a liquid or a gas. Now, when a body is immersed partly in a liquid or a gas, it appears to become lighter. Why this occurs? Why it appears to be lighter? Why the weight decreases? Weight acts downward. There must be some upward force which is balancing or nullifying the effect of the force. Well, this occurs due to the fact that the liquid or the gas, that means the fluid, exerts an upward force or buoyant force in the upward direction. This upward thrust is known as upthrust or buoyant force upon the immersed object. Now, this acts in the direction opposite to the weight of the block shown here. If the weight of the body acts downward from its center of gravity, then the upthrust acts from the center of buoyancy of the body. I will come later in this class about what is center of buoyancy. Here the body is completely immersed in a liquid, its weight is acting downward and upthrust is acting in the upward direction. So net weight of the body must be equal to the difference in these two. So what is upthrust? The upward thrust which any liquid or a gas exerts upon a body, partly or completely immersed in a liquid or a gas, is called its buoyancy. Now, in order to get an explanation for buoyancy of a liquid, let us consider imagine a rectangular solid block placed within a liquid. This is a rectangular solid block placed within a liquid. Now, several forces are acting on this block. These lateral forces on either side, but be careful about the fact that what we are discussing about is liquid at rest. So the liquid must be at rest. If the liquid is at rest, then this force will balance and nullify this force. They are acting along the same line, equal magnitude, because the liquid is at rest and acting in opposite direction. So if this force is 5 Newton, this will be equal to minus 5 Newton. So the net force is 0. Here also, if it is 10 Newton, it must be minus 10. If it is something like minus 2 or minus something, it will be plus something. If we consider this direction as positive, we will consider this direction as negative. Since the magnitude is same, no resultant force will be there in the horizontal direction because they cancel each other's effect. So horizontal force is 0, but there must be some forces exerted on the body because of difference in height of the liquid. This surface is at a lower height and this surface is at a greater height of the liquid. So the horizontal thrust acting at all points on the sides, they get neutralized because they are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So only the vertical thrust acts on the body. Now since there is a difference in depth, the pressure at a point on the upper surface and the pressure at the point on the lower surface are different. The resultant upward force on the block or buoyancy is equal to the weight of the equal volume of the liquid displaced by the block. We can prove it. Let us consider that the pressure on the upper surface is this height is h1, then pressure on the upper surface is h1 rho g, and if this height is h2, the pressure on the lower surface is h2 rho g. So what is the difference in pressure? Difference in pressure is h2 rho g minus h1 rho g. This is the difference in pressure. Now the upward thrust is greater than the downward thrust, hence the resultant upward thrust on the block will be, what will be the resultant upward thrust? Pressure is equal to force per unit area, force is equal to pressure into area. So H2 rho Ga minus H1 rho Ga, this will be the H2 rho Ga minus H1 rho Ga is the resultant upward thrust on the block. Now what is the difference in height? H2 minus H1. See here. This length is H2 and this length is H1. So H2 minus H1 is actually the length of the block. So we can write here H2 minus H1 can be replaced as L, or the length of the block, and length into area, cross sectional area into length will give you the volume. So length into area, this is length and this is area, this is length, this is area, so length in area is equal to volume, so it will be V rho g, volume into density into acceleration due to gravity. Volume into density into acceleration due to gravity. Again, density is equal to mass per unit volume. So volume into density is V rho, it's mass. So if we place here mass, then it will give you mg. Mg is equal to weight. So finally we get the weight. So we can say that the resultant upthrust on the block or buoyancy is equal to weight. Weight of what? Weight of the equal volume of the liquid displaced by this block. Now, irrespective of the size and shape, we will come to the same conclusion, that it is actually the weight. So if W1 be the weight of the body and W2 be the weight of the equal volume of liquid, when it is completely immersed, there is an apparent loss W2 in the weight of the body. As a result, apparent weight of the body will be given by W1 minus W2. And in this way, we can conclude that it is easier to displace a body within a liquid as compared to displace it in the air, because a certain weightlessness appears there. So whenever there is a fluid, it may be air or water or any other gas, there must be some buoyant force or upthrust. Even when a balloon flies high up in the air, a balloon filled with let us consider hydrogen or helium gas, rises up. The reason is that the weight of the balloon, there are two forces acting on it. If we consider that there is no horizontal force, that is quite absurd in nature, but still we are considering the fact that there is no horizontal force that will displace the balloon in the horizontal direction. So we will only be concerned about the vertical forces. So weight of the balloon is acting downward and the upthrust is thrusting it in the upward direction. Now the gas balloon is rising in the upward direction, so we can easily conclude that the weight of the balloon acting in the downward direction must be less than the upthrust of the air, which is acting in the upward direction. Since the upward thrust is greater than the downward thrust, the balloon rises in the upward direction but reaches a certain height, not greater than that. So it is evident that the upthrust or buoyancy does not depend on the depth to which the body is immersed. It doesn't depend on the shape, mass or material of the body. At a particular place, it only depends on the what factor? See here, at a particular place it depends simply on the immersed volume of the solid, V, and the density of the liquid displaced. Again, in a weightless condition, where there is no upthrust or buoyant force, there is no phenomenon of buoyancy in weightless condition. Now, we know that in a body, the center of mass is that point where we consider that the entire mass of the body is considered, or entire mass of the body is concentrated. If we convert this body into a point object, we actually take the center of gravity as a point object, where we consider that the entire mass of the body is concentrated. That is called when gravitational force is acting here, then it is called the center of gravity of the body. Now, center of gravity, that means center of gravity of the body depends on the concentration of the mass of the body and the force with which the gravity is pulling it in downward direction. The resultant of all these forces will act from a certain point, and that is called the center of gravity of the body. So it is depending on the distribution of mass on the body where the G is acting, that means gravitational force is acting. But whenever a body is partially immersed in a liquid, a certain part of it remains inside water. So that part of the water will displace some liquid. That means this part of the solid will displace some liquid, and this part will not displace some liquid. Now, the point at which the buoyancy of a liquid acts on a body is called the center of buoyancy or the center of flotation. Now when a body is partially immersed, then the center of buoyancy and the center of gravity will not coincide. Let us consider this body. I am drawing it here again. Almost in the central region is the center of gravity, almost here. But the center of buoyancy will be slightly in the downward direction because the volume of the displaced liquid will be from this region, and the concentration or the resultant of the concentration of the mass where gravity is actually acting here will be center of this region. So if we consider the body here, the center of gravity is in this region and the center of buoyancy is in this region. So here the center of gravity and the center of buoyancy will not coincide. But if a body is floating in this manner, then the center of gravity is here. If a body is floating in this manner, then the center of gravity and the center of buoyancy coincides. So when a body is immersed in a liquid, it experiences an upward buoyant force exerted by the liquid. And from Newton's third law again, the body should also exert an equal and opposite downward force on the liquid. Now, this reactional force can easily be demonstrated by various experiments. Now here, another thing that we come across here is Archimedes' principle. Now what is Archimedes' principle? Archimedes' principle. It states that when a body is partially or completely immersed in a liquid at rest or fluid at rest, fluid means it may be gas or it may be liquid, it experiences an upthrust equal to the weight of the displaced liquid. That means it appears to lose a part of the weight which is equal to the weight of the displaced liquid. You can easily verify it experimentally. If you take a container full of water and then insert a certain substance within it, then see the volume, initially measure the volume of that substance. If it is a regular solid, it will be easier for you to measure the volume by using a formula. Then see how much water is displaced. You will observe that the volume of the displaced water is equal to the volume of the body which has been calculated earlier. Now you should remember that this principle involves the weight of the body. So it does not hold true when the body is in a state of free fall or when the body is in an artificial satellite moving in a circular orbit. Because in either cases the body is in a weightless condition. To sum up, we can conclude that in weightless condition, Archimedes' principle cannot be applied. Even the flotation and immersion of the body can be discussed on the basis of Archimedes' principle. Now, the weight, when a body is in a liquid, there are two forces. One force, that is the weight of the body acting downward, which is trying to take the body in the downward direction, and another body which is in the upward direction, which is trying to restrict its motion in the downward direction. Now both the forces act through the center of the gravity of the body when the entire body is in liquid, but the center of gravity and the center of buoyancy will not coincide if the body is partially floating in that liquid. If, let us consider that weight of the body is W. W is the weight of the body and W dash is the weight in liquid. W dash is in the weight of the liquid. When W is greater than W dash, let us consider W dash is the buoyancy or the buoyant force. When the weight is greater than the buoyant force, that means the downward force is greater than the upward force, the net force will be in the downward direction. Here the weight of the body is greater than the weight of the equal volume of the displaced liquid. What will happen? The body will sink. So if the body sinks and W is greater than W dash, W is mg. Mg means V rho g. Volume of the body, density of the body into g is greater than volume of the displaced liquid, and volume of the liquid is same. So V will cancel. This is the density of the body and it is the density of the liquid. This is the density of the body and this is the density of the liquid, and G cancel. So if the density of the body is greater than the density of the liquid, then the body will sink. Similarly, when W is equal to W dash, that means the weight of the body equals the weight of the equal volume of the liquid it displaces. The body floats, being wholly immersed anywhere in the liquid. The net force on the body is zero, and hence its apparent weight vanishes for all such positions. It will arise only when rho is equal to rho dash, that means the density of the body is equal to the density of the liquid. Now another case arises, the reverse of this one. When W dash is greater than W, then what will happen? If you calculate in the same manner, then you will get a reverse sign, that means density of the liquid will be greater than the density of the body. So when the density of the liquid is greater than the density of the body will float, because a net upward force acts on the body. As a result, it reaches its surface. The weight of the body is equal to the weight of the displaced liquid by the submerged portion of the body. So a part of it will remain submerged, or the entire body may remain submerged along the surface of the liquid, or the entire body may remain in the upward direction. Only the lower surface may remain in contact with the liquid surface. So in such cases, the apparent weight of the floating body is obviously zero. So there are huge applications of this Archimedes principle. For example, when a steamer or a launch or a navigating vessels enters from a sea to a river, it may sink. There is possibility that it may sink if precautions are not taken earlier. The reason is that density of the sea water is much greater than the density of the river water because of the presence of the salts and dissolved impurities. So we can say that when it enters river water, the upthrust provided by the river water will be small as compared to the upthrust provided by the sea water. So if the Plimsoll line or the rule relating to the Plimsoll line is not maintained properly while loading the vessel, it may get sink because the upthrust will be less. Now what is the Plimsoll line? Plimsoll lines are drawn which are lines of safety. There are 3 lines, and these are lines of safety while loading the cargo vessels in seawater as well as in river water. See, if this limit of water level is not maintained while loading the ship, there is every possibility that it may get sink when it enters river water from a sea water. So there are so many illustrations of principle of flotation. Ice. We will come to this in my later videos.